Folks, I'm working on my second cup of coffee. I got the fire out and everything. I'm not going to lie to you. Getting that fire going was a challenge. It rained the night before that, so it didn't stop until 5:30 p.m. yesterday evening. So all I'm doing, grab me a second cup of coffee. That's all I'm doing here. Probably not as hot as it was, I just had a pot. As you can see, I'm clear about that coffee. And that's it, I'm down the coffee grounds now. I'll get rid of the rest of it. So, we're going to go for a walk here in a minute. I'm going to take you back to my tent from the fire spot and kind of show you around. And I got some mushrooms I want to show you guys. Nothing edible that I'm aware of because I don't know the mushroom. I just want to show it to you. So I'll get back with you. Alright, so we're done with a cup of coffee. I'm going to turn you around and we're going to kind of spin around here to kind of show you my surroundings. So let me turn this phone around, or the camera, or whatever. Alright, as you notice here, I got a fence. There is a bank back that way. There's other stuff. I had a guy pull up here. I'm not sure what was here, but this parking lot here is not used at all. I thought about crossing the fence and exploring over there, and I might still. I was kind of wanting to do that yesterday, but the rain kind of stopped me from doing it. I thought either I'd go to the beach, which I'm not too far away from, or explore these woods. If you give me a choice between the beach or the woods, I like both. But in this case, I wouldn't mind exploring back further into these woods. There is if you go far enough, there is an opening in the fence. But this fence is sturdy enough that I can climb it and get over it. So we might be doing that. But for my spin around, those are the mushrooms I'm talking about. We'll get to it here in a minute. That's where I've been making my fire. My problem is all of this here is getting punkish. Even the small stuff is getting punkish. And I really had problems today getting the fire going for coffee. I didn't get a decent flame, but I was able to get hot coals finally. It took about longer than it should to get the fire going. All that is my water jug. It's not empty because this is how I put out my fire. Coffee cup. I want to get smaller coffee cups. I can use that for a cooking pot too. I have a cooking pot and a weighted bowl of water in both containers. Of course, my bag. And I'm not having on the muddy ground here. Here's the mushrooms. I took pictures too. There's more. Where'd I see them at? Well, I'll get back with you guys. I gotta gather up my stuff and I'll show you the mushrooms. Alright, something the Native Americans used to do. If they started running out of resources or were starting to turn winter time, they went somewhere else. And because the lack of dry wood, even out of the trees, some of these trees are not that great that are standing. But my tent is over there, and we'll walk to it so I can show you where it's at. I'm actually pointing, there we go. It's over there. You can see the highway is right there. Tent's that way somewhere. We'll get to it here in a minute. This stuff here, I don't know. I'm assuming it felt like that. It actually looks like someone tried to build something, but there's no telling. I'm closer to the highway than I probably should be, but if you look at the ground where I'm at, I don't know if it would flood back here. And there's all kinds of places to set a tent up at. And there's more mushrooms back that way. That's what that yellow is you're seeing. And we'll walk over there. So let me get my stuff. There we go. Let me get over there. We'll walk back this way. But look at this ground. This is what it all looks like. Now imagine if it did a good rain, it'd flood here. But here's another resource. If you need vitamin C, I got pine trees. And we'll do a video on that probably tomorrow. I'm actually going to look something up. I don't know. I know caffeine from the coffee will give you energy, and I like it. But also, you have to buy that coffee. So know your natural resources will give you energy. I don't know if this will actually give you energy or not. I know you'll get vitamin C off it. In fact, there's some thicker pine needles. I don't walk to that spider web. And also pay attention where you're going. There we go. But that's another thing, if you find pine cones. I don't see no pine cones laying around. There's more of those mushrooms. We'll walk to these mushrooms, I'll show those off. And see, this is getting me close to the highway, which we gotta be careful. I think I'm alright over here, but we still gotta be careful. Alright, I'm not going through that way, it's too thick. But look how black it is. And it's wet, so I don't see no water coming up when I do that, so I'm not totally worried about it. But it's not a spot I don't think I'd want to set a tent. And there's all kinds of hiding spots, but you're kind of taking your chances. I may not be able to get to those, but here we go. Guess I will. See, I was picking the stuff up that was hanging from trees like this. I was just hanging there to try to get the fire going. That was still a challenge. So keep in mind, folks, even though you're doing it, here's some mushrooms here, which kind of look like these back here. I'm having a struggle to get back here to show you guys this, but we'll be alright. And forgive the ride. But look at all that. I wish I could find chicken in the woods. I recognize that one, though I can eat it. These, I don't know what the hell, because I don't know what the hell they are. I'm not worried about it. If you don't know what it is when you're foraging, just leave it alone. I'll get back with you guys. We're going to get out of here. Alright, we came back where we started. I normally don't go back there. I just wanted to show you guys that mushrooms. So we'll go back this way. And here's kind of another resource if you're on ground. Gather a whole bunch of these up. And there's some mushrooms there. But gather a whole bunch of these up. I mean a bunch of them. Get you off that ground a little bit. You at least want 4 inches or more of this stuff right here. And make it into a mat. The same with spruce and pine needles. Now be careful with the trees. You do not want to kill the trees. Now, there's plenty of this stuff here. I mean, it's all over the place. And you guys can put it in the comment section. I know what it is. And when it's rolled up tight, there's a specific one you can eat. You have to really boil it, but you can eat it. There's some mushrooms there. They're the same kind we just looked at. We're close to the highway again. Gotta be careful. I'm not worried about regular people seeing me. For the most part, they leave me alone. I just don't want no cops going down. That's kind of something you gotta put up with if you're going to live like this. As where you camp at, you gotta be careful. But as you can see how black this is. And of course, someone has been back here at one time or another, or the trash blew over here. And there's not a lot of it. And you can see that's off the ground a little bit, and that's what I was picking on. Everything in there was wet. I tried. Big old rock right there. Cut across here. That's basically how I get out. But here we go. That's my tent. They say you shouldn't cook where you camp at. They're right, especially if you're in bear country. Don't cook where you camp at. And I probably could have used this. Bigger wood than I'd probably need. I could shave a little bit off and use it. Might do that tomorrow. I don't want to have a really big fire, but I could shave stuff off there. and get things going with that. So that's another thing I could have done. That felt dry. It standing up and it's dead. Be careful with these thorns, of course. That's my only problem with this particular area. She was going slow, but she was looking straight ahead, so most people won't pay attention. There's a little red car right there. Now, there's something else. Now, I wish I didn't have a highway near me. There's some water right there. Now, as you can see, I'm not worried about flooding. It didn't even come up with all that rain. It only rained about an inch, a little bit over an inch, maybe. And there was a downpour. I do have my tent set up with a tarp over it, because I did manage to poke a hole in the back of it. Probably ran some thorns or something, no tell. I was laying there one day, this starting to turn dark, but I noticed a little bit of a light coming through a hole, so I fixed it up the best I could with duct tape. But now I'm using a tarp. I am having water now kind of go through that corner, and that's been going on, but not as bad since I covered. It seems to be, I'm not sure if it was that corner. That may have been where the tarp is now, because there wasn't as much. The way this thing's designed, if you look at it, it leans. So anything that's hit, and I don't have the spray to waterproof this thing. So I may not take the tent with me. That rain poncho with SB is long enough. I can set it up for shelter. I'm going to try other shelter configurations later on with them. We'll make a video about it. I'm not sure when I'm leaving. Let me get you turned around. New Hampshire is where I'm wanting to go. There is the second largest national forest there. White Mountain National Forest is what it's called. So we're in New Hampshire. So that's where I'm going to be headed. I want to check that out. Well, I don't know exactly when. I know I don't want to go there during the winter time. I want to study it more wintertime living too. That might be one of those situations during the spring and fall. Those are my favorite time of year. Spring, everything's starting to regrow, everything's young with the plants and stuff. Whatnot. I do have a fishing kit now. I got hooks, those split shot. I call them weights, but they're sinkers. You know what I'm talking about. Hooks you cast and it sinks the hook to the bottom. Getting live bait's not a problem. I do have also lures. I'll probably work on the fishing kit a little bit. I'm wanting to mix in primitive with modern day stuff. Like I'm not familiar with the bow drill or the hand drill. To get that fire going, rubbing two sticks together, especially in wet conditions. Your conditions have to be right for that. Your tinder bundle, if you get it off your tree and it's wet, it's not going to work. Humidity affects things too. So yes, that's something that'll throw sparks. Know your resources. I know what fatwood looks like. I know about birch bark. This recently with this fire, I found a tree. I think it's called a Boston plane tree. And I'll put in the description area. This video is getting long with me talking. Excuse me while I ramble. But the bark was peeling like a birch. It wasn't lighting like a birch. In fact, it was a complete fail with that. I was wanting to make a video of it, and it just was not lighting at all. I gave it a try if I can turn the video on, and it wasn't doing anything. So that wasn't a very good video if I was going to do a video, so I just didn't do it. Like I said, it's called a Boston plane tree. And I'll make more of a video of that, what the tree looks like, when I get to where I'm going. But I'm going to go ahead and get out of it, now I'm rambling. I will see you guys on the next one. You know what to do. I'm out here, folks. Thanks for watching.